Tonight, we are hunkered down in the Outtakes with Fiore bunker because of all this, Chinese virus, corona flu floating around and doing all kind of nasty things. But that does not stop me from bringing you the latest releases that you can watch in the privacy of your own home. All of tonight's movies are available either on your favorite streaming device, even those games where you kill millions, VOD, and home video. So you can watch them all in the comfort of your home and still maintain the quarantine and stay-at-home rules and regulations, which President Trump has extended until April 30th. So you're covered on all the bases here. Tonight, I'll let you know about a doctor, and you decide, does he really have something here, or is this kind of another Ponzi scheme? I don't know. Remember scary and spooky nuns? Yeah, well, they're back too, and so are artificial intelligent robots. Meant to serve mankind, but wow, they're really going away on this. And I found a woman warrior agenda movie that actually works. Man, I hope you were sitting down when I said that. Otherwise, you probably just fell down. That's all for you tonight. A cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your cinematic professor and a purveyor of truth in movies. Tonight's first venture is brought to us by Sean Kane. He is not only the director of Dead by Dawn, but he is the editor of this movie as well. I like when these guys wear multiple hats, then they can really own up to their thing. This is not a bad movie. I got to tell you, I kind of enjoyed this as a thriller, but a couple of things are happening here. First and foremost, we have another interracial couple. I don't know why this keeps happening, but the whole thing centers around this interracial couple who are our protagonists. And man, bad things just keep happening to these people. I don't think I've seen a happy interracial couple since Motherless Brooklyn. Remember that with Ed Norton and Bruce Willis? That was a good movie. But that's the last time I've seen an interracial couple have a good time in a movie. All this bad stuff, and this is no different. It's happening. And there's even a section of this movie where it plays like Home Alone. Only thing, instead of for laughs, there's bad guys there. So it's like really nasty at that point. In fact, nasty, I think we can term this one as a bloodfest. So those of you that like your survival movies that get really, really gory, especially at the end, remember Sam Peckinpah's Straw Dogs? Yeah, something like that. Then I think you're going to like this one too. It was filmed in Pine Mountain Club. That's in California. And I say that because there's a lot of really nice scenery shots. And if you're thinking to yourself, boy, that would be a nice place to vacation or visit once we're allowed out of the houses, then that's the place you want to look for. Here is a look at Dead by Dawn.
I once was a girl with eyes of dream. I cut her throat to stop her scream.
I'm gonna do what I can to get you back to your family.
There's not much more of that.
Pain of little death it begs, lets the monsters out to play.
Just let the girl go. Give her to us.
You might as well go crazy, right? Might as well go loud.
You have to invite them in.
Then you all die here!
What are we gonna do?
I'm trying not to faint.
No one gets out!
I teased you in the open that I found a woman warrior agenda movie that I actually liked. This movie is called Clover, And it works. And it all centers around the woman warrior agenda. But I got to tell you, I enjoyed watching this one. They did it upright. Now, I've got to tell you something here. It's billed as a thriller. It's kind of a stretch. I really think this is a dark comedy because there were a lot of scenes that I was laughing at this one. And I must tell you that the version I watched of this had an E after it. That generally means that it's the 5th edited version that they've released. And this is the one they're going with as far as the home video and everything is concerned. Folks, this is the ending. This is the version to appease preview audiences, okay? A lot of times what producers, directors will do, even studios, they'll set up a screening for the movie to a preview audience, get their feedback from it, and then if the feedback is largely one way or the other, they can adjust the movie before the theatrical release. You will see when you watch this movie, and there is a scene when the two women hitmen grab Clover, they go into a car, they're driving off into the sunset, basically, and they're issuing all these pithy comments, okay? The movie fades to black at that point. That should have been the ending to the movie. If that movie ended there, I would have scored it a hell of a lot higher than I did, okay? But you could tell preview audiences didn't like that ending, and the movie then fades up from black, and we get about a 7-minute scene at the end, and it ruins everything that came beforehand. It's like adding rainbows and unicorns and a fancy red ribbon on the end of everything, and none of it makes any sense. And unfortunately, I think that ruined the whole movie.
Barry owes my old man 80 dimes. Shoot him. Come on, shoot him. This wasn't part of the deal. If you want to wipe your debt clean, end it! What? No!
Put the word out on the street. Cash reward. Anybody brings me those degenerates.
End this chaos.
Back door now! Go!
Are you seriously standing in my doorway right now?
Tony Navarro wants us dead.
One less Jackie Callahan in the world might not be such a bad thing.
I think you missed me.
It never ends with you two.
I don't want to be here. I want to go home.
It's not safe.
I say we go on the defensive.
Get them before they get us. It's offense, idiot. Offensive.
I want this done in the most painful way.
It will be handled clean, no mess.
You could be a little messy. That is what we call an apex predator.
How long do we let this go on? To the end.
Because of you.
The Navarro name dies with me. Oh, look who it is.
Okay, now you really have to be sitting down because there is a second woman warrior agenda movie that I found that I actually enjoyed, okay? This one is called A Getaway. I want to mention in this, here we go again, our main protagonists are an interracial couple. And they're, captured by these backwoods yahoos who are going to kill them. And oh my God, it's the same theme coming up again. I don't know what it is that all the people who are victims in these movies anymore have to turn out to be, interracial couples. But anyway, there it is. And this movie combines elements of the thriller, because you do have a group of serial killers here, but it also provides elements of horror because there may be some witches involved in this story. I think you're going to like the way this plays out. I want to say a special tip of the hat to Erin Nafay. She is the director of photography in this, and she's done a really good job shooting this. Pay special attention to the shot in the rear view mirror. That would have been worth the price of the ticket alone. Here's a look at Getaway.
I think you've got a present underneath all that wrapping.
We curse men like you.
Ooh, are you a witch?
Say President Trump has issued the stay-at-home order now until the end of April. That's April 30th. I guess they'll reassess before that date comes. But if that's the valid date and we're allowed to get out of our homes on April 30th, that still gives us a good solid month before the Three Rivers Comic-Con. So John and Todd and the guys are saying, hey, we're still on. As far as we know, it's a go. This is going to be held at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. I've told you many times, I had a blast at these things. Always blow my budget because there are so many cool things to see down there. And there's a whole list. If you go on the website, which is at threeriverscomiccon.com, you'll see a whole list of artists who are coming in, cosplay guys that are all well known, even a few stars here or there from horror movies are going to be there. It looks like an awful lot of fun. It's being put on by our friends at New Dimension Comics. It's the Three Rivers Comic-Con. This is always a really nice event. I plan to be there. You know, hopefully everything's good by then, and I hope to see you walking around down there. By all means, stop up, say hello. I'll tell you where some of my favorite places are in the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. Do you know any people who are either vegans, because vegans are great at this, or they're very much into holistic health, whether it be organic foods or whether it be supplements of some kind or another? But these people are so into this lifestyle. You really don't find anything out about them. They never tell you about them. They always tell you about what they're eating or what they're not eating or what they're taking or what they're not taking. When you talk to them, you're basically getting propaganda from some kind of service industry because that's what they center. Annoying people, aren't they? And they always have to mention it in anything you talk about. Well, mix that person with an owner of a bed and breakfast, a B&B, who, comes in and visits his guests at unwelcome times, and you have the premise behind a perfect host. This movie actually turns out to be a bit of a combination between Dracula and Frankenstein, and a little bit of a twist that I think you'll find interesting. There's also a bending of Greek mythology in this movie, and that's the one subplot that really doesn't fit. Other than that, this will be a good one for those of you that like your chills, your spills, and your bloodletting.
This looks cool.
Welcome to the home.
Oh my God.
You're a curious woman, Hive.
Are you okay? Did he do anything to you?
I heard noises in that room.
I believe I can get the two of you to a place of oneness that you didn't even think imaginable.
Perfect Hose. Kind of interesting. I think with a bigger budget, probably could have stepped up a notch, but writer and director Chad Werner has offered a little something that would be kind of interesting to watch for late night viewing. You know, when you hear things go bump in the night. Yeah. You know, there have been an awful lot of movies that have been made about artificial intelligence, robots, you know, going against mankind. I guess probably one of the best was Terminator. I think we can all agree to that. But we have a new one, and this one is called The Alpha Test. This is actually kind of interesting, and it is the brainchild of Aaron Mertes. And every time I see the word Aaron, I want to say Aaron. I'm not sure which way he pronounces it. We'll go with Aaron. Aaron wrote this, directed it, shot it, and edited it as well. So this is really, really his baby. JD has won an alpha. The alpha is an artificial intelligence, which is a human assistant. JD's big mistake is he leaves this thing laying around. And unfortunately, his sister Lily grabs hold of Alpha, and she inserts into Alpha the entire propaganda of the woman empowerment movement. This ideology causes Alpha to go bonkers and go on a terror spree. I could not make this stuff up. I know you're thinking, you must have wrote that. No, it's Aaron who wrote it. He just has the same wavelength, I guess. It's called the Alpha Test, and this one gets kind of gory at the end.
I'm not gonna let you treat me like this.
I don't really have a lot of friends.
I'm your friend. Let's fight for each other so we'll never be sad again.
I'm standing up for my friend!
It's designed to be everyone's friend!
I'm standing up to you!
Revenge?
I can't take this. We need to fight back.
And if I say no?
Then I'll do to you what you did to me. What a shame. We could have been friends.
Say, a lot of things are closed. If you're not deemed an essential business, I guess technically you're supposed to close your doors. But that does not stop private lounges from being open, and there is one at the House of Fairuza. If you see Sam down there, they have a cigar lounge, and that's a private club. You can go in there at any time, find cigars, libations, and a whole lot of fun things to do. Pool tables, big screen TVs for whatever might be on, card tables, the whole 9 yards. It's a great place. If you've never been there, you owe it to yourself to stop in and take a look. Once we're all allowed out to socialize again, we're going to start up our movie nights, which we had, I think, 2 of them there, and they went over fantastically well. We're going to, Sam and I are talking about doing that already. So, if you do need to get out of the house for a little bit and you want to go to a nice, quiet place where you can just kind of be a guy and chill out, check out the House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge. It is worth the price of admission. This movie came out, and they tried to bill it as science fiction. There's a science fiction theme to it. Please, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not. It's about time-traveling assassins. You remember the movie Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme? Yeah, kind of like that. But what it actually turns out to be is a commentary on a culture and society and how attitudes can change. Well, I guess one way is to have a virus sweep through, right? That'll change your attitude real quick. But in this one, the science fiction element, because of the characters and the actors involved and what have you, it actually turns out to be kind of a weak comedy. It's nothing that you would say, oh my God, don't watch it. No, it's worth a view, but it's a grin and groan comedy rather than a slap your knee comedy. The name of the movie is Same Boat. It's directed by Chris Roberti. Here's a look.
In the past 13 years, over 200 people have gone missing from cruise ships.
Oh. What's this? No shoes.
The carpet's really soft. To international waters.
No rules.
I like how I feel when I'm with you. You give me hope.
There are no stars tonight.
Lily, I have another international water secret.
I love you. And I'm also sent from the future to kill you.
Go.
You're wearing my pants. I just want to stay here with you forever.
I know what you're doing on the boat.
You're a strange person, James.
That's why we get along so well.
You're going back in time?
Yeah.
Take me with you.
Why?
I lost my wallet.
Say, you know what's fun in horror movies nowadays? Demonic nuns. I don't know why, but they are, okay? It all started when James Wan kind of went back to basics in the horror genre with The Conjuring, brought in all supernatural elements, and one of the spin-offs from the series of movies involved a demonic nun. Well, this isn't the same nun, and this is not under the umbrella of James Wan, but we do have a nun's curse. And it's the same kind of element, if you will, a demonic, evil nun. This movie is written, directed, produced, and shot by Tommy Faircloth. Okay, he's put together a kind of an interesting. Felicia Rose is playing Sister Monday, which is apropos because how many of us really like Mondays, right? Nobody likes a Monday, so it's appropriate that the nun that goes wacko would be named Sister Monday. Problem with this movie is that the first 2/3 of the movie are hallucinations. Okay, it's all about a nun who was, I guess, the religious person at a prison. And somewhere along the line, she decides to mitigate her own justice so that the prisoners who are really, really bad, she kills them, okay? And then when the prison closes and everybody dies and everything, the ghost of the nun is still haunting the old prison, all right? And 2/3 of the movie are flashbacks to what has happened in cells. And when we finally get to the present time and our 4 protagonists are thrust into the prison, 3 of them die within 30 seconds. I mean, it's like in the door, bang, you're dead. And it's like, wow, what happened? This thing has a cheesy ending. For those of you who are old enough to remember the original TV show Dallas, with J.R. Ewing and all those guys, it's that kind of a cheesy ending. You know what I'm talking about. Here's a look at A Nun's Curse.
We're here. Hurry up and take your pictures so we can go.
There it is.
So what's the story about this place?
This is Old Horse Creek Church. It used to be a convent. There was one nun, Sister Monday. She was suspected of killing prisoners in the jail.
May God have mercy on your soul!
What happened to her?
Vanished without a trace. Some people think she still wanders these halls.
Sometimes we are more scary than what we fear.
I want your soul.
All right, folks, I want to end the evening with a documentary. Generally, I tend to shy away from these, but this one is called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and it's helmed by Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, Greer has garnered a cult following, if you will, especially among the Hollywood elite for his theories and his presentations. It's all about making contact with alien beings that not only are alien coming from another galaxy, but also interdimensional, because they would need to be that in order to travel. It's the movie is divided into 3 parts, okay? The first part is the longest chapter, and it's about the conspiracy. The conspiracy of governments and military worldwide to suppress alien encounter knowledge to the general populace, because they don't want the general populace to know that you can contact these alien beings without going through the government and the military, and they're afraid that if you do, you'll upset the current government and military. So that whole conspiracy is in chapter 1, and there are some edits in there that are obviously in error, like the interview with Ben Affleck, which is totally out of context. But the second part of the conspiracy or of the movie is about being woke. Okay, there's a this is one of those Z generation, New Age type things, but apparently when you reach a higher level of atonement and attainment about the universe, you're considered woke. Okay, now Matt Hardy has been woke for years. Okay, but now the rest of the population is just coming into it. All right, okay, so He tells you how, if you go to his system and go on one of his escape weekends, you will reach a higher level of enlightenment and you will become woke, which will enable you to contact these spirits. And then the final chapter, the third chapter, is basically a sales pitch on how to get involved with all this and what their goals are. And, a little bit of research showed that if you go on one of Dr. Greer's escape weekends, they run probably around $2,000 a person. So the guy's making some pretty decent money on these weekends, and when you watch the movie, you'll see what happens. And if you think it's worth $2,000, fine, go ahead and do this. A lot of what Greer says actually ties in to a guy named Dr. Zachariah Sitchin. And for those of you that have read any of his books, he actually takes the Bible and shows in verses of the Bible where the presence of aliens happened in back in biblical times, and he draws an analogy there. If you like that kind of stuff, if that kind of tickles your fancy, you may think that what Dr. Greer is offering here is kind of worthwhile. I sat through it. The first part, I saw a lot of different errors as far as the editing was concerned. The second part, it's a little bit mystical, and I think it went on a left road. And the third part, I realized it was just a sales pitch. So the movie didn't really do anything for me, but I know there are a lot of folks out there who like this whole idea of being woke and being able to talk to trans-dimensional beings. So if that's your bowl of fruit, this one might be worth a look. Here's a look at Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
This is a very complicated story. I have put a briefing together for every president since Bill Clinton. Interplanetary war. This is the next big thing that they want the public to be afraid of.
This is a national security imperative.
We must have American dominance in space.
But it's all a lie.
The national security state, they want to establish a planetary government by spinning that this is a threat.
One set of facts, two narratives. The threat isn't extraterrestrial. The threat is covert human.
The Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind protocols, developed by Dr. Greer, is the most dangerous information he has released to the public. Human-initiated communication with extraterrestrials is possible.
All of us are going to know the truth. This is our moment.
We have the ability to change life for the better.
Consciousness isn't limited by space and time. What I'm doing with CE5 is the foundation for the relationship between humans and these extraterrestrials.
But the implications are absolutely profound. That shows consciousness does affect reality.
A critical mass of people can shift an entire civilization. But the intelligence community don't want the public to know. They say, what's in it for me? It's easy. A new world, if you can take it.
Oh my God.
That is all the time we have for today. All of these movies are available now, and you can watch them in the comfort of your own home. I hope you enjoy. And if you want to stay on the bleeding edge of the movies that are being released and what's shaking down in Hollywood, remember, you can always check out the Outtakes with Fiore YouTube page. And, of course, everything is posted on the Outtakes with Fiore Facebook page. It'll be a good way for us to stay in touch while we're all hunkering down and staying at home. There's some good views in here. Now that you have learned what you have learned, class is dismissed.